Namaskara, the South Indian is here. You know, they say a week is a very long time in Indian politics. Is it? Then what happens when it's 6 months to a government? Makes for a debate, doesn't it? The Siddaramaiah-led government in Karnataka has completed 6 months in power. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it is my belief that there is no point celebrating 100 days. Many governments do that, as it's too short a tenure. It was indeed a fabulous victory for the Congress party as it won 135 seats. And many experts feel the campaign focused on issues which mattered both for the BJP and also for the people of the state. It was bang on according to a lot of political analysts. Corruption was of course a major plank, and the PCM campaign mounted by the Congress proved effective. The trump card, however, was the 5 guarantees, and on your screens right now. 10 kg free rice to BPL card holders. There is of course Annabhagya, which spoke about it. 200 units of free electricity was also promised. 2,000 as assistance for women who are head of families. Shakti, free bus travel for all the women. And also for the youth, 3,000 and 1,500 for unemployed youth of the state. So those were the 5 guarantees of the Congress party which was promised, and I think it really worked as a trump card. The problems, and many say, happens with every government, but I actually disagree, and I'll tell you why I disagree. But before that, listen in to Rahul Gandhi on the guarantees.
We walked together in Karnataka for 557 kilometers in the Bharat Chodo Yatra. I met lakhs and lakhs of people, and all of you complained about one thing: the BJP's loot of the people of Karnataka. Karnataka youth are worried. They're worried about not getting jobs. Women are being harassed by price rises. And so we asked ourselves, what would you expect from the Congress party? And you gave us 5 extremely powerful answers. Guarantee number 1, Griha Lakshmi scheme, 2,000 rupees a month to every woman head of a household. With Griha Lakshmi, we are keeping the money in the hands of women to ensure that they are in control and in charge of their own life. Guarantee number 2, Yuva Nidhi. With Yuva Nidhi, we will provide support to the youth of Karnataka for 2 years. Rupees 3,000 per month for unemployed graduates and rupees 1,500 per month for unemployed diploma holders. We know that you are suffering the largest unemployment crisis that you have faced. We focus on creating 2.5 lakh government jobs and 10 lakh private sector jobs. Guarantee number 3, Annabhagya, 10 kgs of rice per person per month to BPL families. With Annabhagya, we will ensure that not a single person in Karnataka goes to sleep hungry. Guarantee number 4, Griha Jyoti, 200 units of free electricity for every single household. We know that price rise has impacted everyone, and Karnataka households are no different. Guarantee number 5, the Sakhi program, free bus tickets for women to travel around Karnataka. We want women to travel safely and comfortably. Travel should not be a burden on the women of Karnataka. These 5 ideas are your ideas. Everybody who believes that what the BJP did over the last 3 years, the 40% commission Sarkar and the gross robbery that they carried out from the people of Karnataka was wrong. Vote for a government that is sensitive and has a vision. On the 13th of May, when the results come, the Congress party will have a sweeping majority. On the first day, on the first cabinet meeting, these 5 guarantees will be given to you by the Congress party. We will return what is rightfully yours and set Karnataka on the right track of prosperity. This is not all we are going to do. This is the beginning of the journey.
So one of the major hits of the government, and we are speaking about the 6 months of the government led by Siddaramaiah in Karnataka. Now let's talk about problems. And I was talking to a lot of my journalistic colleagues, and they said, listen, it happens with most government, but I totally disagree. This whole thing began when there was a slugfest about who shall be the chief minister, whether there shall be 2 on rotational basis, and so on and so forth. So that started. And of course, as we came closer to dispensing with the guarantees or dispersing with the guarantees, the lack of rice, so far as the Annabhagya scheme was concerned, the teething problem with Grihajyoti and so on and so forth. Those were problems, but I am sure they were tided over very well. But then what I think has been recurring with the 6-month-old Siddaramaiah government is the constant bickering and fighting between the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister camps, and a lack of synergy between the two. It was started by senior leader B.K. Hariprasad, who took a veiled dig at Siddaramaiah about his luxury watch, etc. The time when a CLP had to be called, when some 30 MLAs had forced the party's hand. Men like B.R. Patil and Baswaraj Raya Reddy, backed by party MLAs M. Krishnappa, Priya Krishna, Narendra Swamy, among others. When supporters of either spoke in favor of their respective leader, you remember Rajanna proposing 3 deputy chief ministers and insisting on it. Then Home Minister also jumps into it, G. Parameshwara. He says, why not have a Dalit CM? And it went on and on until the Delhi High Command told. And I'm those gentlemen, that is Surjewala and Venugopal, arrived and they said, please do not speak out of turn.
From last 6 months, the Congress government fighting between Siddaramaiah and D.K. Kumar for the CM post. So they are not seeing the people of Karnataka. All our free gift has gone out. They are not even reached 30-40% for the free gift. So up to now, the financial status in Karnataka, they collapse. There is no money in treasury, in Karnataka treasury, because flood in the flood situation. When I was the revenue minister, we given double for hectare 12,000 rupees. We given 24,000. Now the drought is all over the Karnataka. Even not a government given any farmers to, not a single NP. Single NP. That is the financial state of the status in the Karnataka.
Much like politics elsewhere, and particularly in the south, politics in Karnataka is also very personalized. It's like in your face. But talking about this government led by Siddaramaiah, the latest slugfest is kind of serious between D.K. Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah over releasing the caste census, and the reason being the Vokkaliga factor. So let's debate whether the 6 months of Karnataka government has been more of a hit or hurtling towards a flop. The experts are joining us. Satyaprakash, spokesperson for the KPCC, has joined us. Ashok Gowda, who's spokesperson for the BJP, has also joined us. And Professor Chambi Puranik is awaited, who's a political analyst and senior journalist and political analyst. Vijay Grover has also now joined us, and it's such a pleasure to see all of you. Vijay, I'm going to come to you first. And I'm asking you this, you think the 6 guarantees have been a huge success? Okay, I know as journalists we don't use adjectives. So has it been a success so far? Would you concede? You have to unmute yourself, Vijay, please. Can't hear him. No, I can't hear you, Vijay. Let me go to the other guest and I'll come back to Vijay, and let me come to Ashok Gowda. Ashok Gowda, Vijay, can you hear me? He's now paused and he can hear you, but I can't hear you, buddy. So maybe you can check your audio connection. I'm coming to Ashok Gowda. Mr. Gowda, good to see you, after a long time, I must say. So Mr. Ashok Gowda, I want to ask you that, the government, the Congress government was formed also because of the corruption plank. It was called the 40% Sarkara, the BJP government, and I think the Congress did a splendid job in taking the message to the people. But now I see that, so far as your government is going, the slightest chance that they get, they are attacking them on the guarantees and also on the corruption. I want to hear your views. First, as a Kannadiga, of course, and second, as somebody who belongs to the opposing political party, as to what do you find wrong with the 5 guarantees, Mr. Gowda?
See, speaking about the 5 guarantees in Karnataka, every guarantee in Karnataka has failed. The first guarantee which has failed is Gruhalakshmi. They said that they will give 2,000 rupees per woman in Karnataka. 1.2 crore women were supposed to be identified. Believe me or not, on ground, some of the journalists whom we have met, they have said that only 22 lakh people have got the second installment and only 12 lakh people have got the first installment. Meaning to say, only maximum up to 34 lakh people have got the Gruhalakshmi scheme. Now, they're coming to electricity. What has happened? Because they wanted to give free electricity up to 10% of the hiked value, that is 53%, 53 units. What has happened? Because of this, the prices of the industrial usage electricity has increased. It was average was 4 rupees 20 paisa. Now it has gone up to 7 rupees 80 paisa. That is one. Second, the farmers of Karnataka for electricity, they are not getting. When we were in power, we were giving uninterrupted power for the farmers, almost up to around 7 hours to 8 hours only for the HP power utilizations. Now they're claiming as 3 hours, but apparently they are giving only an hour. And in fact, to be very honest, a farmer is taking a small child to irrigate his land in the night at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
I mean, that's good for opening. Thank you, Mr. Gowda. Vijay Grover is back, and let me also welcome Professor Chambi Puranik. Vijay Grover, I had asked you the opening question as to if you think the guarantees are, do you think the guarantees are by and large successful? I mean, no one, for God's sake, I refuse to believe that you have to have 100% delivery. It is impossible. But by and large, do you think the guarantees have worked?
Well, see, Sudha, look at, the kind of execution that is there, that seems to have faltered somewhere. Apart from that, the guarantee by itself has succeeded. We've all seen the visuals of the free bus service where we saw so many. And the fact is proven by the fact that, the ridership by women in buses has gone up from 30% to 55%. Now, that clearly shows the kind of success, because a lot of women are now able to save that little bit of money, because, each individual is different. Let's look at it from case to case kind of thing. Yes, the other guarantees may not have been fulfilled, but the fact is that the system, maybe, when the Congress promised these guarantees, it did not anticipate the kind of, hurdles it would face. It has faced hurdles, and which Ashok Gowda highlighted that, the schemes have been delayed to some extent. But the fact is, if you look at it from not a political point of view, look at it from a common man point of view, who's battling inflation, who's battling corruption, who's battling, everything. Whatever money saved goes into the kitty is actually money earned. And that is where, the common man is looking at it from point of view that he's or she has been able to save. We have seen the kind of...
Vijay, would you say that it's the biggest hit of this government? Would you say that
It is a hit, I would say, partially, because the execution, as I said, has gone wrong. But otherwise, the guarantee schemes, the way they've been designed, offer a lot of transparency and assure people that, there is some benefit which is coming to them, which was promised. It may be 70%, 60% or 50% in different cases. But the fact is that, maybe the Congress government did not put its act together. The fact that there was no celebration of 6 months clearly shows the fact that even within the party, the leaders are not very happy about the way things have gone. And we've seen the kind of bickering that has happened in the last couple of weeks, especially clearly highlights that, while the government was there to deliver to the people, it has not been able to deliver whatever governance it offered internally. The kind of infighting of the leaders certainly raises questions whether after these elections in the 5 states, will the Congress put its act together, or will it continue to be a house which is divided and open in public to, the kind of spats that we see?
Absolutely. And let me now, I'll go to Professor Puranik in a bit, but first Satyaprakash ji, Do you agree that, first of all, I want to ask you more than the political point, I want to ask you what the journalist in Vijay Grover said, that one of the reasons that you have not celebrated 6 months, of course, Siddaramaiah ji spoke to the media, he gave bites, everything, but we don't see any major celebration. Is it, I mean, why is it so muted, sir? I mean, after all, your 5 guarantees are now being copied in Telangana to 6 guarantees. If it was such a success, why has it not been celebrated, Satyaprakash ji?
We need to understand that nearly more than 100 taluks are under severe drought. Okay, it is not the time for celebration right now, because we have to do the job at hand is in different parameters are still there. But I would like to declare to the people of Karnataka, now nudidante nadediddeve. We have walked the talk. Whatever we have promised to the people of Karnataka before elections, out of the 5 promises that we have given, 4 we have fulfilled. 1 we are going to fulfill as early as another 45 days from now. By January 10th or 5th or something, the Chief Minister has thundered that we are going to fulfill that promise too. Whatever Mr. Vijay Grover said, let us look at what are the facts and figures. Figures don't lie, no, Mr. Grover. You and I might lie, but figures don't lie. I would like to bring to you few figures regarding Gruha Jyoti. 1.62 crore households applied.
Audio is off.
1.5 crore have been beneficiaries. Nearly 2,900 crores has been spent on.
But he never said, let's be fair. First of all, no personal, my show is not here to make, please. I don't shout at anyone. No, I will not allow. No, I won't allow you, Satyaprakash ji. If you are going to, if you are going to say don't lie and all that, you can't say don't lie. ये personal मत बनिए आप. You can say you can't say don't lie. No, I am sorry. Professor Puranik, do you agree with me? On my show, we don't use this kind of language. It's up to you, sir. It's up to you. Don't say don't lie.
Mr. Satyaprakash, if you want to counter the facts, let me also tell you the kind of checks which have been done on the conductors to find out how much of misuse of the Shakti scheme happened. Also talk about that then. When I say 50, 60, 70% success, I mean that it has not been 100% foolproof. I am not lying.
I will prove to you.
Yeah, that's a very strong word. No, I don't like usage of strong words. Professor Puranik, Satyaprakash ji, I am requesting you, sir, please. Let's not, we are all decent South Indians here, sir. We don't use such language. Professor Puranik, I want to ask you that in order to...
Madam, you don't put your words into my mouth. I didn't say he is lying. I said...
Arre, sir, I'm not a politician. Anyway, and I have a bad cold. I will not waste my time on such things. Professor Puranik, the thing is that, all right, there are 5 guarantees and they, it seems to be have done a good job, like Vijay said, 70%, But of course, there will be political parties who will say, no, not good enough. Even I am saying it. It's not possible to kind of 100% have 100% delivery. But I want to ask you something, that the whatever 45,000 crore rupees is required to fulfill all of them or deliver all of them, do you think it's a major? We know Siddaramaiah's talent at budgets, Professor. But the thing is, where are they going to get that money from? It's all very well. The honeymoon period is now over. 6 months of honeymoon. After this, what happens? Professor Saab.
Sudha, I quite agree with you because we are impartial and also we are well-wishers of Karnataka state. As we belong to the state and as an anchor, you are supposed to place the realistic situation before the viewers and for the benefit of general public. But I think the enthusiasm with which Congress has started these populist schemes, 5 guarantees, even it has been copied by BJP in the 4 states elections, also partially there in India. So they have also learned whatever views, the electoral kind of promises that help people and bring them more votes and put them into power and all that. That's there. But I think, having seen Siddaramaiah for the last 5 decades, even from his student days up to now, I think he's a very seasoned, capable administrator. I have no doubt about his capacity. But the problem he is facing is, right now, as Mr. Satyaprakash himself said, that out of 236 talukas, 216 talukas are facing severe drought. And that has to be addressed. See, he has released about 3,800 crores to the deputy commissioners to take care of that. But the problems of farmers are still very severe, because not only drought in terms of loss of crops and all that, even their income and all that, even for fodder for the cows and other supporting animals and all that, it is still begging. So I think, in the euphoria of guarantees, we should not think that everything is good in the administrative system of Karnataka. Six
Absolutely.
months is too, yeah, the
Yeah,
6 months
yeah.
is too early. But there are issues of governance. I will give you one example. Mr. Satyaprakash may agree or disagree, but as impartial observers, see now in corruption in Karnataka, the previous government was almost, I mean, made pasted as 40% corruption government and all that. But I don't think corruption has stopped here now. Even today, so I ask a number of people who go to government offices. They say, "Sir, without giving a bribe or the kind of whatever expectations that are there, nothing moves." So there, the issue of governance should have been there. In terms of developmental perspective or the sustainable development goals that we always speak for. Even the central government also tries to say that we are on the path of sustainable development also. So I think somewhere there is a kind of deficit in a good governance. That's
Right.
what.
So,
Number
so,
three,
so, yeah. Yeah.
1 minute. Number three, it's the administration is not Bangalore centric. It should not be. Actually, today all the problems that BBMP has got is bringing bad name to the state government.
All right.
It's a very, very serious issue that people of Bangalore face, because by merging different areas, they brought in Bruhat Bangalore Yojana.
All
Whoever
right.
they brought, they have committed a blunder. So
All right.
therefore, I would say Karnataka, apart from the political crisis Mr. Siddaramaiah is facing severe problems or issues, challenges in terms of the delivery of the promises, not
All
five
right.
guarantees. Five guarantees are not
So,
the proof of success.
yeah.
It's only kind of hope that the people
All
of
right.
Karnataka.
I'll come back. Yeah. Mr. Gowda, I want to ask you this, that, your party has brought up drought. Talukas facing drought, severe shortage of water. Sir, one of the major things that is also being looked at is the Kaveri issue between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Now, no one has a quick fix solution to it. It's been going on even before independence. 1897, if I remember correct. After that, 1947. Subsequent governments have really worked at it. Mr. Baswaraj Bommai was supposed to be an expert when it comes to water dispute. Today, we can all turn around and say there is no water in Karnataka, there is drought in Karnataka. But the point was, what was your government doing, Mr. Gowda? You were in power, no?
Apparently, see, in Karnataka, we have been in power for 8 years. And Congress is in power for past 55 years. And Janata Dala government was also in power for very close to around 10 years. So with all these things, the maximum problem, whether it was Mahadayi or whether it is Kaveri, the maximum problem solving was done during the Basuraj Bommai as irrigation minister, Basuraj Bommai as the chief minister. Why? Because he understood the concept very well from his father, as well as while implementation came, he was forecasting what could happen and how the Tamil Nadu could react to each statement and each of the policies what is being made by Karnataka, and he was personally visiting the
Sir, it doesn't wash, sir. Sorry. No, it's very easy to accuse the other, but then when it comes to your own, then you will be counting all these years. Mr. Satya Prakash ji, would you like to? No, it doesn't wash. You are in governance, you got to walk the talk, sir. Very simple. Mr. Satya Prakash ji, would you like to counter some of the comments made by the guests, or should I ask?
Enough time. You have to give me right
time. Yeah, don't use words like lie and all that. I'll give you a lot of time. Go ahead.
No, you have to give me enough time.
Don't use words like lies. Okay. That's it. Go on.
Please don't misquote me. I said figures don't tell lies. That's exactly what I said. Okay. Now let us see, what my friend has said. Okay. He said, Basuraj Bommai has done a lot of things. In 6 months, do you know 45,643 hectares of land have been converted by Siddaramaiah government into irrigated land. Do you all know this? 44,476 farmers have been benefited by this. What has Bombay done?
All right,
You
it's
are
not
talking-
go on, sir,
Madam,
next.
give me some time,
No, it
madam.
is not an election speech, sir. I am going to ask you about if you are not interested in answering, I am okay with that,
You
sir.
allow people
No,
who
I
speak
will
against
allow
Congress so much of
everyone, but
time
I
and
want you
don't
to
give me
counter.
enough time to rebut what 3 or 4
This
people
is
who are
like
against
hectares
Congress
of, it's not an
speak.
election
Injustice
speech,
to
sir.
me
Go
on
on.
the party.
Vijay Grover, do you think, sir, I will not relent because this is my show and I want you to answer about your hits and misses. You are losing an opportunity. Very simple. Vijay Grover, do you think that the constant slugfest between Deputy Chief Minister and Chief Minister is a big problem, and the latest one being the Vokaliga factor, because DK Shivakumar has said very, very clearly that, this is not scientific. I don't see any bigger problem like this. Forget about, we will talk about who will be the Deputy CM, rotational CM, it's my camp, your camp, Hari Prasad talking, so and so talking. But this problem I see as a gigantic problem. Would you agree, Vijay Grover?
Well, see, Sudha, one thing is very clear: the fact that the Congress has not been able to get its act together in trying to, keep everyone happy. We've seen the way the Jarkiolis reacted in the recent weeks.
Yeah.
We've seen the way MP Patil is now tried to put his, assertion on the Lingayats being unhappy with the way the Congress is treating them after the Congress. So this is something where, the High Command will have to ensure that you move beyond the caste divides and work for the development of the people, especially if you have to now look at the 2024 election and try to win some seats. In the last two elections, 2014, 2019, we've seen the Congress practically wiped out as far as the Lok Sabha elections were concerned. And this is an opportunity where if they had put their act together, maybe they could have given a fight. but the way we are seeing DK Shivakumar putting his foot on, rotational and these kind of controversies, this is actually giving the state on a platter again to the BJP. Because the way Vijendra and R. Ashok, when they took charge, very clearly said that, they would be able to win the seats for the BJP in the given thing. But the fact is, people of the state are not looking at these caste census. Luckily, it has now been postponed by a month, that the report will not come out on this month. It will come out maybe a month later. So that is another controversy which is now been put in the cold storage for the time being. But the fact is that the government got a chance to come to power after removing the BJP government. The people wanted a mandate for working for people, and that's something which somewhere down the line we see the Congress
that's getting diluted.
That
Satya Prakash ji, I want to come to you and ask you, sir, that now that Deputy Chief Minister has said that he does not accept the Kantaraj report, the census, don't you think it's it makes the government look like they are speaking in a folk tongue? Two different things are being spoken. Siddaramaiah ji has constantly said that what Rahul Gandhi has said, that caste census is very important, but then we hear DK Shivakumar speaking like this. Why should, I think both of them are very intelligent and mature politicians. Why do you need an intervention from the High Command? Don't you think that's really, impacting your government, sir?
Have you read listened to what DK Shivakumar said? He said, I as president of Congress party, we have very clearly said in our manifesto that we are going to implement the caste census. He said that as a leader from that community, when my Vokaliga Sangha comes to me and says that they have some apprehensions, I have asked the government to look into it. That's it, as simple as that.
Yeah, but then once you are, so there's a difference between being part of the party and part of the government. He's the Deputy Chief Minister.
That community also, no ma'am.
So that's what matters. So that's what matters. Why are you so angry, by the way? You got up from the wrong side of the wrong end of the bed. What is this? No, this is, I don't want this kind of behavior on my show. Please. Let me go to Mr. Gowda. Mr. Gowda, I want to ask you that, the thing is that the corruption charges that you have said that against, Priyank Kharge in the Kionics case and stuff like that, I mean, there is no proof to it. But, because he's also said, go on, you can interrogate me if you want to. But, so far as I'm concerned, it's the BJP government that we are tiding over. How big is the corruption? Is it the elephant in the room for the Congress party as well, Mr. Gowda?
Apparently, Congress corruption is a Guinness record in Karnataka during the second regime of Siddaramaiah.
All right.
How? Every department, the loot is happening to the maximum extent. I'll just tell you an example of BBMP. BBMP, where the plan sanction was supposed to happen, the DCM is asking for 74 rupees per square feet for an apartment, or even the urban development minister, that is like, Bhairathi Suresh, is asking almost the same amount even in the rural areas. This is the kind of the corruption what has been planted by the Siddaramaiah government, and this is only one example. I can quote hundreds of examples for which we are the live example, like, where we are.
All right, I've
facing
completely, Mr. Gowda, sorry, but I've run out of time, and thanks to some of the guests who were throwing tantrums. But Professor Puranik, I give you the last word, sir. Overall, if you look at it, do you think that, overall 6 months, the Congress government has done rather well in Karnataka?
It's a mixed bag. Because,
Great.
Siddaramaiah, as a known administrator, is trying, but I think the Siddaramaiah of the previous regime is not visible in his hold on the administrative setup and the kind of whatever things that are happening in Karnataka. Another thing is, now I just want to give you two figures here. The power situation in Karnataka is very pathetic. In fact, 21,000 crores the state government owes to the power corporation for having supplied, even in spite of private agencies contributing their share and all. Now, with the drought and other whatever situations are there, how he is going to face this? This is another problem. The third one is about corruption. I'm just not blaming Siddaramaiah, but the system, the bureaucratic system that has been inherited by the previous BJP government. In 2022-23, there were 8,664 cases filed by Lokayukta. In April, from April this year to November, there are 5,135 cases which are been filed. So that means to say, these figures themselves speak that the kind of good governance that people expected, in the euphoria of guarantees, it should not be just neglected or ignored. This is a challenge that is there. The third thing is survival of the government in spite of all whatever the kind of the popular mandate of 136 they have got is going to be a serious challenge, because if there is a fight between Deputy Chief Minister and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah to hand over.
I also concede that despite everything, if you do not show up as a united house, then you have a major problem. And one last word to Vijay Grover before I run with the second story. Vijay, please come in quickly.
Well, so one thing that I want to add to what Puranik sir said, the fact is, people of the state are realizing that changing the 224 MLAs does not serve. The bureaucratic system has become so rotten that nobody is able to take any action in trying to improve things. And that is the biggest learning of this election, where people had fought against, all these things and had tried to bring a change. But the change doesn't seem to be happening. And Siddaramaiah, I feel sorry that, somewhere he seems to be shackled. And that's the reason why we see that, there's no celebration or muted thing despite all the arithmetic jugglery is done. Thank you, Sudha.
All right. And with that, thanks very much to Mr. Satyaprakash ji. Thank you so much, Mr. Gowda. Thank you, Professor. It's always a pleasure. Vijay Grover, thank you very much for you joining us on the show. Thank you indeed. You know, corruption is a very big issue. We keep hearing Bhashtachar, why is it that so on and so forth has, you know, siphoned off so many crores of rupees from one to the other. We've heard, you know, the Bofo scam, we've heard Vyapam, etc., etc. But what we do is, after every election, we kind of forget about it and move on. And like I said, it only becomes a big issue when one party accuses the other of it, because they go hammer and tongs, you are corrupt, you are corrupt, you are corrupt. Generally, it has now become an accepted norm actually, unfortunately, in Indian politics, and it's really complicated, like relationships can be. The Forum for Good Governance, or FCG, has released data on all parties and their candidates in Telangana who have criminal cases against them, and this is how it looks like. You know, thank God for this forum which did a great job, that is the Forum for Good Governance, the FGG. Now, let me also add here that according to the survey, the charges are not really heinous or serious charges, like you may think, oh, murder charges or maybe that despicable rape charge, nothing like that. But they pertain more to cases relating to land grabbing, cheating, and even some frivolous cases. But then they are criminal charges, which you must agree is like the biggest bane for any democracy. Today, that's how we have become. If it's a murder or other heinous charges, we think big one. If it's small, we think jaane do, it's okay. In Telangana, 226 out of 360 candidates contesting the assembly elections and belonging to all the major parties like Bharat Rashtra Samiti, Congress, BJP, AIMIM, all have criminal records. And the charges of course vary in degrees. Topping the list is the Congress, a party which had made corruption its major plank, like of course it did in neighbouring Karnataka, where it said 40% Sarkara to the BJP. The party has fielded 84 candidates who are facing 540 criminal cases, which means that approximately 71% have criminal cases. Congress is followed by the BJP with 78 candidates who are facing 549 cases, meaning they are at number 2 with 70%. So, 71% is Congress, 70% is the BJP, and the ruling BRS with 58 candidates, I beg your pardon, is at 48%, facing 120 criminal cases, and the AIMIM has a score of 6 candidates facing 12 cases and stands at 50%.
कांग्रेस बीआरएस की सी टीम है। बैकवर्ड क्लास की आकांक्षाएं कांग्रेस के भी एजेंडे में शामिल नहीं है। कांग्रेस और बीआरएस दोनों के ही डीएनए में 3 बातें कॉमन है। एक, परिवारवाद, दूसरा भ्रष्टाचार और तीसरा तुष्टीकरण। इन परिवारवादी पार्टियों के संरक्षण में भ्रष्टाचार फलता है, फूलता है और अवसर भी सिर्फ और सिर्फ नाते रिश्तेदारों को ही मिलता है।
पूरा का पूरा कंट्रोल एक परिवार के हाथ में। और भ्रष्टाचार, देश में सबसे ज्यादा भ्रष्टाचार तेलंगाना। तेलंगाना का मॉडल दूसरे स्टेटों में जाता है, एक्सपोर्ट होता है। बाकी देश में तेलंगाना से भ्रष्टाचार की टेक्नोलॉजी भेजी जाती है। और सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान तेलंगाना की जनता को हो रहा है, महिलाओं को हो रहा है, युवाओं को हो रहा है।
बीआरएस का मतलब ही भ्रष्टाचार होता है।
बीआरएस अंटने
అవినీతి లంచగొండి పార్టీ అని చెప్పి స్పష్టంగా చేస్తా ఉన్నాను ఇవాళ.
मिशन भागीरथ स्कैम करने का काम बीआरएस पार्टी ने किया.
మిషన్ భగీరథ పేరు మీద ఏ రకంగా కమిషన్ పొందిందో ఈ బీఆర్ఎస్ ప్రభుత్వం మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు.
मियापुर भूमि घोटाला करने का काम बीआरएस पार्टी ने किया.
మియాపూర్ యొక్క భూముల కుంభకోణం ఈ బీఆర్ఎస్ ప్రభుత్వమే చేసిందనే విషయం అందరికీ తెలిసిందే.
कालेश्वरम परियोजना में रिश्वत लेने का काम बीआरएस पार्टी ने किया.
కాళేశ్వరం ప్రాజెక్టు పేరు మీద ఏ రకంగా ఈ ప్రభుత్వం ముడుపులు పొందిందో అవినీతికి పాల్పడ్డదో ఇవాళ మనం కల్లారా చూస్తా ఉన్నాం. ఇవాళ
बीआरएस पार्टी ने शराब घोटाला भी किया.
ఈ బీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ అంతటితో ఆగలేదు, సారా కుంభకోణం మద్యం కుంభకోణానికి కూడా పాల్పడ్డదని చెప్పి ఈ సందర్భంగా తెలియజేస్తా ఉన్నాం.
मिशन काकतीय में 22,000 करोड़ का भ्रष्टाचार किया.
जो फैमिली करप्शन में डूबी हुई है, A to Z करप्शन करने वाली, आकाश से लेकर पाताल तक हर चीज में घोटाला करने वाली कांग्रेस पार्टी आज अगर आके उपदेश देते हैं, आज अगर आके लेक्चर देते हैं करप्शन पे, भ्रष्टाचार पे, हंसी आती है. क्योंकि आदर्श, बोफोर्स, कॉमनवेल्थ, मैं गिना सकता हूं A to Z, और उनके प्रधानमंत्री, उनके खुद के पार्टी के लीडर स्वयं राहुल गांधी जी और सोनिया गांधी जी श्रीमती दोनों भी नेशनल हेराल्ड केस में आज इंक्वायरी फेस कर रहे हैं. तो अगर ये आके यहाँ पे उपदेश देंगे ये लीडर कांग्रेस पार्टी के, और सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये है यहाँ के प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष जिनको उन्होंने चुना है वो स्वयं एक 420 है. दूर सारा दुनिया देख चुकी है. पैसे देते हुए पकड़े जाने वाले एक चोर को आज प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष बनाने वाले राहुल गांधी, यहाँ प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष स्वयं यहाँ पे टिकट बेच रहे हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी के. तो ऐसे लोग अगर भ्रष्टाचार पे उपदेश देंगे, भ्रष्टाचार के बारे में बात करेंगे तो लोग हंसने लगेंगे.
Now this is a report and therefore it's the data that they have collected, but let's take stock according to the report of the top guns within each party and where they stand when it comes to criminal cases. Allegedly, Revant Reddy, the chief of the Congress party, and the controversial T. Raja Singh of the BJP stand on equal keel with the highest number of 89 cases against them. Let me add, these are not serious charges at all. Next comes the ex-chief of the BJP state unit, allegedly Bandi Sanjay, who has 59 cases, followed closely by his party member Soyam Bapu Rao at 55. Now, if we talk about the ruling BRS, allegedly BRS President and Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao has 9 cases registered against him, and it is being said most of them are while he was involved in the Telangana movement. So, it's understood. And he is of course followed by his son K.T. Rama Rao with 8, his relative T. Harish Rao with 3 and Gangula Kamlakar at 10. We also know that the Supreme Court has repeatedly spoken about political parties to not give out tickets to any candidates with criminal records. But then what if a candidate faces a trumped up charge? It happens. Of course, politicians will also talk like that. They say, what if so and so has foisted a case against me? So on and so forth. Tell you what, I have a unique solution. I know that all of you must say, oh, it's a distant dream. But when the 30% reservation for women comes into effect, maybe the women can take this up and at least stop criminals with known cases and very serious cases from fighting elections in their respective constituencies. What do you say? We shall bring the change. And with that lovely note, this South Indian says, Vanakkam, Namaskaram. I'll see you yet again with a whole lot of news stories.
ChatGPT